Hi family, so I just wanted to share with you how I took this oversized t-shirt and made a cute tank top dress for my daughter. So if you want to see how I did that, then keep on watching. So you might be wondering, why in the world did he buy a shirt that was way too big for his daughter? Well, the reality is that this shirt was such a good deal and they had it in the adult sizes that I needed. So if I wanted the whole family to have the same look, I had to buy the big one and change it up. So what I did to get the right shape was grab an old tank top that she had in her closet, and I used that as my guide to know where I was going to have to cut. Now, the one mistake that I did make during my measuring process was that I didn't give myself seam allowance. Now, if you're doing this at home, make sure you give yourself some seam allowance, because I was lucky enough to where it didn't matter, but you definitely want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough seam allowance, otherwise the garment won't fit, and once you cut, it's done, right? So I went ahead and continued with the process because I didn't realize at that point that I had made that mistake. So before I cut it, you'll see that I pinned it down the side, and that was because of the type of fabric I was working with. This cotton was really thin and it curled at the edges once I cut it. So I knew I had to pin it down to make my cuts as straight as possible. After I cut the shirt, I went ahead and grabbed the sleeves and took off the colored bands that were on the sleeves, because that was my favorite element from the shirt, so I knew I wanted to incorporate those back into the tank top. Now, the little color bands were the same fabric as the shirt, so definitely was tricky to work with, especially because it was so small. It kept curling up on me as I was seam ripping it, and it made it really tricky to hold the fabric and take out the pieces that my goodness, it was just hard. So if that happens to you, just press forward, take your time, and take a couple of deep breaths, because you'll get there. It just takes some time. So I had to do that to both sides. Now, once I got it off, I had to worry about getting it back on. So it took a lot of finagling, and it took a lot of pins to keep it down the way I wanted it to. One of the things I did do was press it down with some starch before I tried to pin it in. That way it kept a little bit more of a sturdy shape when I was trying to pin the little color bands. So that was a tip that kind of worked for me, but after a while it still curled up, so you gotta kind of work quickly. And after I pinned it, I went ahead and ran it through the sewing machine, making sure I was stretching it as I went. Otherwise, it would not have gone all the way around. So once I finished with that, all I had to do was go ahead and do a straight stitch down each side, which was super easy, and I was done. But when I put it on my daughter, it kind of looked like a nightgown, so I went ahead and also ruched one of the sides and added some orange shoelaces that we had laying around the house, and it gave it a nice little streetwear vibe, and it made it much cuter. So definitely get creative, because sometimes your first initial plan isn't the one that ends up working out, but just keep at it and try something different. Don't just give up on the project. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video and feel inspired to do the same. And if you did like it, don't forget to give it a like and follow for more. So I will see you in the next video. Bye!